I think AI may exceed the sum of human intelligence in around 5 years.
The production line that built the Model S and the Model X is gone. Not paused, not retooled, ripped out of the Fremont factory floor and thrown away. Elon Musk confirmed it on the Q2 2020 earnings call, and the reason should make anyone who has watched this industry for 30 years sit very still. Tesla gave that space to a humanoid robot. Here is the part nobody wants to say out loud. The smartest artificial intelligence on Earth is now being held hostage by bolts, bearings, heat, and friction. Bits are cheap, atoms fight back, and the strangest proof is sitting in Texas, where Tesla's simplest vehicle ever built, a 2-seat Cybercab with no steering wheel, demanded the most complicated assembly system the company has ever attempted. In the next few minutes, you will see exactly where the machines break, what Tesla is doing about it, and why the next 12 months decide whether humanoid robots become a product or stay a demo. Stay with me. The numbers get uncomfortable. The Fremont bet Tesla cuts its own lifeline. Start with the artifact, not the theory. Fremont has been building the Model S since 2012, and for years those two vehicles carried Tesla's premium image. Musk confirmed that the S and X line has been dismantled to make room for the company's first dedicated Optimus production line, with the first Generation 3 builds beginning in the third quarter. That is not a slide in a deck. That is a company burning its own boats. According to manufacturing supply chain analysts, swapping a vehicle line for a robot line is never just a floor space decision. You are architecting the electrical density, the compressed air network, the fixture layout, and the material flow of a plant that was tuned around welding steel bodies. Industry estimates put the Fred industrial floor area at well over 100,000 square meters, and every square meter of it now answers to a machine that walks. Ask yourself what you would need to believe to sign that order. Musk was blunt about the ramp. It will be slow, deliberately slow. The first units are not going to customers at all. They go into a program he called the Optimus Academy, a controlled environment inside Tesla where robots perform real tasks, fail, get corrected, and generate data that feeds the neural network. Read that as a confession. Tesla does not yet trust its own robot outside its own walls, and it is honest enough to say so on an earnings call. The early phase has 4 jobs: validate the line, catch design flaws, measure component durability, and collect real-world behavior. Notice that 3 of the 4 are about hardware. It's not intelligence, and durability is where the fantasy dies quietly. A joint that behaves perfectly for a laboratory demonstration may not survive months on a factory floor. Optimus is not being asked to work for 2 minutes in a polished video. It has to repeat the same motion thousands of times a day, hold precision, and never seize a bearing. A hand that lifts a light object may be useless when the task demands force, sped, and repeated impact. Then there is the part Musk said out loud, and it is the sentence that should stay with you. This machine weighs around 154 pounds. If the control system destabilizes or the robot loses power, it collapses exactly where it stands, next to a person. Reliability here is not user experience. It is a safety requirement. That single risk explains the Academy, the internal deployment, and the slow ramp better than any roadmap ever could. When internet-trained artificial intelligence slams into the laws of physics. Ashok Eluswamy described the training approach in one line: pixels in, control signals out. It is the same architecture that drives full self-driving. For a car, cameras see lane markings. Vehicles, pedestrians, and the network decide stir, accelerate, or brake. For Optimus, the principle holds, but the action space explodes. The robot must decide which object to grasp, how much force to apply, how to move the wrist, and how to recover when something starts slipping out of its fingers. A car has a steering angle and 2 pedals. A hand has dozens of degrees of freedom, and every one of them can be wrong. Here is where the data story gets genuinely clever and genuinely fragile. Tesla pulls training data from 3 places: employees performing tasks while robots watch and imitate, A specialist team producing higher resolution, higher accuracy demonstrations to clean the dataset, and internet video, especially instructional, and how-to footage, which Musk has repeatedly said includes YouTube. If a robot can watch a video and learn the skill the way a person does, task extensibility becomes almost unlimited. Now do the arithmetic that nobody puts on a keynote slide. Take one clip at 1080p and 60 frames per second. That is roughly 2 million pixels per frame, 124 million pixels every second. And from that flood, the network has to extract shoulder angles, elbow angles, wrist rotation, and 10-finger positions with error under 1 millimeter. Video shows you what happened. It does not tell you the torque. A person picks up a cup without thinking. Optimus has to convert that image into a coordinated sequence of shoulder, elbow, wrist, and finger commands, then check the result against physics that does not negotiate. This is why Musk floated a concept that sounds like science fiction, but is really an engineering shortcut. A digital Optimus at scale may arrive before a physical fleet at scale. The mind can be trained in simulation, in software, in virtual environments, millions of instances at once. The body has to be validated one unit at a time against materials, temperature, friction, impact, and wear. Bits scale. Atoms do not. Everything else in this story is a consequence of that one asymmetry. Consider the thermal problem. Because according to computational models, this is one of the ugliest constraints in humanoid design. Total power is compute power plus actuator power. If the onboard inference computer draws in the range of 200 watts, that heat has to leave a sealed torso that also carries batteries and motors. 200 watts, continuously trapped inside a body cavity, behaves like a small cooktop that never switches off. And the cooling material you add cannot cost you weight, because every watt spent on thinking is a minute stolen from battery runtime. So Tesla is optimizing 4 things that actively fight each other: compute performance, thermal management, mass, and battery life. Win 3 and you still lose. Then comes the bottleneck that no amount of software brilliance can code around. Optimus has almost no supply chain. When Tesla builds a car, it orders glass, tires, mirrors, seats, and panels from mature suppliers. Nobody sells millions of compact actuators, dexterous robotic hands, or circuit boards shaped for a humanoid torso. Musk said Tesla is building that entire soupli base from the ground up, designing components in-house and persuading suppliers to invest in processes that have never run at this volume. And the parts Tesla cannot make itself put it in a fight it did not choose. Samsung and TSMC were named directly. Micron, according to the company, allocated a significant memory supply on relatively favorable terms, even while memory prices sit at levels Musk called exceptionally high. Tesla is bidding against data centers, cloud providers, and phone makers for the same logic, memory, and advanced packaging capacity. One missing component and the whole ramp stalls. The Cybercab paradox, unboxed assembly, and the death of the paint shop, which brings us to the contradiction sitting on the floor at Giga Texas. If you want to know whether Tesla can actually manufacture Optimus at scale, do not watch the robot, watch the taxi. The Cybercab is Tesla's simplest vehicle. More than 50% fewer parts than a Model 3. 2 seats, no steering wheel, no pedals. And it requires the most radical production system the company has ever built. One Musk describes as far ahead of any automotive plant on Earth. That sounds backwards until you remember one fact. Tesla has never mass-produced a genuinely cheap car. A traditional line builds a Model Y from hundreds of stamped panels, welds them into a body, sends it through paint, then walks the empty shell past hundreds of stations for wiring. Air conditioning, glass, carpet, seats, dashboard, doors, brakes. Every step waits for the previous one. It works, and it has one fatal weakness: a single offline welding robot. The late part, a connector that will not seat, and the whole line slows. At hundreds of thousands of vehicles a year, a few lost seconds per station becomes thousands of lost hours. Tesla learned that lesson the hard way during what Musk called production hell. The unboxed process attacks the sequence itself. Instead of one long line, the Cybercab is split into large modules built in parallel. Front section in one area, rear section somewhere else. Doors, floor, battery pack, seats, and exterior panels on separate branches. Each module stays open and reachable from multiple directions. So seats bolt to the floor before the body closes, and wiring goes in while everything is still accessible. Only at the end do the modules met and become a car. Think of finishing rooms separately and then assembling the house. Building the modules is the easy part. Making them arrive at the integration point at the right moment, in the right position, with tolerances measured in millimeters, is the reason Tesla announced this idea in 2023 and only reached roughly 70% of the line by 2026. 3 years of calculating speds, ratios, and clearances. It stopped being a car problem and became a synchronization problem across thousands of robots, sensors, and controllers moving like one clock. And then Tesla went after the most expensive room in any car factory, the paint shop, cleaning, surface treatment, corrosion protection, primer, base coat, clear coat, curing ovens, filtered air, dust control, chemical handling. By common industry estimates, it can account for a large share of a plant's energy load and a significant portion of its footprint, with figures around 40% of energy and 30% of floor area cited in manufacturing analyses. One speck of dust and a panel gets reworked. Tesla's answer is reaction injection molding. 2 liquid components go into a mold, react, harden, and come out as a polymer panel with its shape, surface, and that signature glossy yellow already in the material. No spray booth, no oven. Hours collapse into minutes. Combine it with the unboxed process, and the panels are molded, inspected, and finished separately. Then fitted late so robots never scratch them during interior assembly. Before you call that perfect, sit with the risk. Those polymer panels face ultraviolet light, freezing nights, road debris, car wash chemicals, and thousands of thermal cycles. Color has to match across molding batches produced weeks apart. If a door cures one shade off, sunlight will expose it from across a parking lot, and a fleet vehicle wears that flaw in public every single day. There are around 500 Cybercabs in testing across several states, some already running unsupervised with nobody in the driver's seat, which creates a problem most people never consider. A blocked camera makes the car blind. Tesla's answer is 2-layered. Small nozzles near the cameras spray washer fluid or compressed air the moment sensors detect grime. Then dedicated hubs handle the interior, where a robotic arm reaches into the cabin and swaps attachments to vacuum crumbs, grip a forgotten bottle, and wipe seats and the touchscreen with a soft pad. Automated wash lanes clean the exterior and wheels. The pack recharges, a quick inspection runs, and the car goes back out. Idle time is lost revenue, so the cleaning crew had to become machines too. Part 4. Designed for manufacturing from Generation 3 at Fremont to Generation 4 at Austin. Now connect the two halves of this story, because they are the same story. The Cybercab line is Tesla proving it can invent manufacturing. Optimus is Tesla needing that skill to survive. Generation 3 at Fremont is not really a product launch. It is an experiment in building. Every component that is awkward to assemble, every step that runs long, every part that fails too often becomes data. Tesla will not only study how the robots work, it will study how the robots get made. Generation 4 is expected at Austin, and based on what Tesla has shared it, shifts toward manufacturing-friendly components and a higher share of parts made in-house. That distinction matters more than any spec sheet. A design that works is not the same as a design that can be produced. Mechanical engineers put it bluntly. A design that performs flawlessly in a lab can be a disaster on a line if it adds 30 seconds of manual work per unit. Multiply 30 seconds by hundreds of thousands of robots, and you have burned years of factory time. So Generation 4 does not just need to be smarter than Generation 3. It needs to be easier to build. Fewer total parts, simpler joint assemblies, shorter wiring harnesses, more functions integrated onto single boards, fewer steps that need human hands. And, by common reliability modeling, Cutting connector count by 10% can reduce vibration-related failure risk by something close to 30% over long duty cycles. Which means simplification is not only cheaper, it is more durable. That is the whole thesis in one number. It also explains why Musk keeps choosing custom parts over off-the-shelf ones. An industrial actuator might be strong enough for a factory machine and still be too bulky, too loud, or too imprecise for a hand. A board that works in a cabinet might cook itself inside a torso. Buying available components is faster now. Designing your own is cheaper later, if later ever comes at volume. Musk has said he believes artificial intelligence may exceed the sum of human intelligence in roughly 5 years. Maybe. But the bottleneck in front of Optimus right now is not intelligence. It is a bearing, a shade of yellow, a memory contract, and 30 seconds of assembly time, which is why Fremont matters so much. Tesla did not clear that floor to build a prototype. It cleared it to learn the manufacturing language of a machine nobody has ever mass-produced, and it paid for that lesson with a revenue line it had run for over a decade. If the analysis holds, the company is treating Generation 3 as tuition, and that is the uncomfortable truth about this entire era of robotics. The demos are getting better faster than the machines are getting tougher. A scripted humanoid in a controlled room can look astonishing on a stage, then fail on a wet warehouse floor at hour 6 of a shift. Tesla is one of the few companies openly admitting the gap instead of editing around it. And that admission is the most credible thing on the earnings call. Physics always keeps the receipts, and every single one of them eventually comes due on the floor at Austin next year. So here is the question worth arguing about in the comments, and the split is real. One camp says tearing out the Model S and Model X line was reckless, that Tesla traded steady premium revenue for a robot still fighting bearings, heat, and a supply chain that does not exist yet. The other camp says this is the boldest correct call in modern manufacturing. The moment somebody finally stopped optimizing a 100-year-old assembly line and started designing a new one. Do you trust the hard limits of physics, or do you trust Elon Musk's vision to break through them? Tell me below, and be specific. Name the constraint you think kills it, or the one you think Tesla has already solved. If this breakdown gave you something the headlines did not, hit like and subscribe. That is the only signal that tells me to keep digging into the engineering instead of the hype. Next, in this series, we go inside the Optimus hand, the single hardest component in the entire machine, where Tesla is chasing human-level dexterity with tendons, sensors, and actuators small enough to fit inside a finger. We will look at what the force numbers really have to be, why a grip that holds a wrench can still crush a glass, and what happens to the whole program if that hand cannot survive a full shift. Turn on notifications so it reaches you the day it drops, because that episode answers the question this one only opened. The intelligence is nearly here, the body is not. Everything now depends on whether Tesla can build fingers that work every day for years without a single complaint.